working on the job.
Always working. Okay.
Alright, we're fed.
We're fed, we're watered.
We're watered, properly lubricated. So before we properly devolve into the night, let's talk about your trip, because, you know, this is important for me to ask you, and I think it's important in conveying you as an artist. Firstly, who is Alec Doomadgee? How did you meet? How did this project come about?
Well, we ended up calling the whole project Painting Alec Doomadgee. And it was what ended up being my mission, ended up a bit of a collaboration in lots of ways, because I couldn't have done it without my comrade in arms, Sean Izzard. I asked to document me and the journey to meet Alec Doomadgee. And who is Alec Doomadgee? Alec Doomadgee, well, when I first saw Alec Doomadgee, it was in a YouTube video. He was with the... I'll wait till you finished. That would have been... Imagine that. That would have been so disrespectful. Shocking.
Alright, let's backtrack so I can edit
no,
properly.
But... Yeah.
Who is Alec Doomadgee, you ask? No bong rip.
Oh man, that was so much like Cypress Hill.
I was just getting myself dialed in so I could properly
Like, who is Alec Doomadgee? It's a pretty interesting way that I discovered Alec Doomadgee. I was here at Welcome to Country, which is a website with Indigenous issues, because I'm sort of starting on this journey to learn more about stuff. Anyway, they put up this video of the Waanyi warriors protesting for Lawn Hill. Then I read on, Lawn Hill has a really disgusting and horrible past where the colonists nailed, I think it was 30 sets or 40, I gotta get that right.
A lot, either way.
40 pairs of Aboriginal ears were nailed to the homestead wall. And then I read further, and the history is even more shocking, how those colonists treated the Waanyi people. When I saw the protest, I thought how calm, courageous and strong Alec was and his people. The way they protested were in something that could have got really emotional, and they took back 100% Waanyi. They took back their country. I'm not sure if it's legal or if the protest was successful, but I posted that video on. I reckon we should put that video on here. I think it's really strong and poignant. And anyway, it was the catalyst for me to begin this weird journey to go meet him and paint him. I put it on Facebook, this video, and a friend of mine said he was sitting next to him the week before at a tourism conference. And so I said in the minute, hey, can you put me in touch with him? I want to paint him. And I'm not a portrait painter by any chance. It's obvious by the painting I ended up painting. But, you know, suddenly I'm on this 6,000 kilometre round trip up to the Gulf of Carpentaria to meet Alec, who I only ended up meeting for about an hour that whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was only a small meet. Because he was busy with his festival.
Stuff going on.
Which was the Gulf Country Frontier Days Festival. The longest name for a festival ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, we attended that in the hope that we would be able to talk to him, because I knew he was a busy guy, and to pin him down would be near impossible, and I thought this would be the place. So a week before I left Sydney, I asked Sean to come, and I'm on the beeline from DY to the city the next day, and he goes, yeah, I'm in. So he's on board, and he made his own art from the journey. He made some incredible photos of the Aboriginal rodeo and also of the trip, and also he made a film. So we both got so much out of it, and it's amazing in a film done by Sean Izzard. He did it really beautifully and made me look half intelligent, because some of the things we had and did on that trip weren't very smart.
Yeah,
there was so much funniness that went on, but he chose this serious. It could have been a really funny comedy.
We were talking about this, and you were saying it could have gone either way, but I can imagine that, you know, you're describing such spontaneity and the energy. It's like, all right, let's do this, let's go.
Oh man!
Make something happen. We've got an opportunity to document this as people that document things.
But that's other artists collaborating with you. That's why it's so important to talk to people.
I think having that kind of rawness in the immediacy of it, also not removing yourself from the humour,
there was a little bit in there.
You know, from that side of life. I think it kind of would help give the more serious moments conviction. and
Well, then
maybe a bit more integrity than someone that would be going out
if that's the
trying
case,
to shoot a serious documentary.
that's true. Well, the talent of Sean is he didn't have a storyboard. He didn't have a story. It was a documentary that he was watching unfold. We shot everything, and we had a microphone called Mr. Fluffy, because you know how microphones are really fluffy. So we lost the fluffy bit at some stage.
Oh no.
And so we put a glove over it. So his glove head. Mr. Fluffy went everywhere with us because Sean knew that I would say something stupid in the stupidest places. And so he was on me the whole time. So that's why he got some really good dialogue that I wish hadn't ended up on the
cutting
floor.
room floor.
Yeah. Funnily enough, it was only a recording that I ended up getting of Alec Doomadgee. I didn't do a sketch of him.
Right.
I got, how weird's this, right? I waited all day for him, and I only got one photo. My mobile phone battery ran out.
Wow.
I got one photo, and then when I went back, the camera wouldn't work, and so I did an interview with him. I've got that all on Mr. Fluffy.
So you kind of had to
So
reconstruct a profile based on his voice and...
Well, yeah, no, I didn't actually listen to it again because Sean thought he'd lost the recording.
Right, because you had all those mechanical problems.
Yeah, well, so we thought we'd lost that recording. So I painted the painting based on my memories of what he said, and even the up the Budjamala National Park, up the Lawn Hill Oasis, I left my camera in the car. How fucked up is that?
This horrible...
Yeah, it was a whole
mishmash
bunch of things. I get this far up there, and I don't have the tools that I thought I'd have to document it, except my memory, which isn't great from a misspent youth. But all that, I think, actually benefited from not having any photographic reference.
Do you think being forced to make up that distance between having that, it forced you to scrutinise it more, look a bit further into how you were constructing it?
I don't know.
From this tree, right? That's very different.
Yeah.
Your portrait of Alec and...
But I don't have a style yet, because I'm an art director and have changed styles all the time. Maybe that's why I haven't got a style yet. God, they are all different, aren't they?
Yeah, but there's a style in your drawn mark. There's
a bit flowy. I like it.
Yeah, the flowiness, and then
I've been really enjoying drawing.
It's interesting about the difference in this tree and Alec. These are... I'd argue these are your two paintings I've seen that bring everything you've learnt to the table, that I can look at and I can dissect bits that I've seen out of all the other different works you've been doing.
Yeah.
While this culminates a stream of plein air works, this thing with Alec...
That was on my wall for ages.
Yeah, it not only speaks to the studio, but this idea of reconstructing knowledge based on memory and like listening to instinct. When you said... he told you just to dream it.
How fucking cool is that? Because like I'm going, wow, he probably just said it, but with the whole dream time and the storylines and all that sort of thing that you hear from what you know, the very little you know, you go, I wonder if he meant that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This brings us back to semantics. It's like, well, he said dreaming, but in their
he
world,
probably just
dreaming
meant just give it a crack, mate.
As well,
it could have
been. Can be a form of analysis, though. Like I was saying, in the way Aboriginal art, cartography, the way they perceive ecosystems aerially with such
it's funny.
detail.
Funny in this painting, I don't think going fully above would be the right way, because that would be misappropriation.
Then it's mimetic.
But without knowing it, I've actually gone higher than the ridge, and the perspective isn't true of what I saw when I got on top of that mountain. So I've made up a lot of that vista, but to bring into perspective things that I saw, like these beautiful sweeping plains, flat as a tack, but kind of like these ridges of waves, like earth waves, and you can see it, and there wasn't any clouds, but in this it feels like there is spots of cloud openings. But I was learning how to do the trees just as a dot and a line, like stuff like that, and the ears are terrible and the feathers aren't great, but I really like his head, and I kind of like the concept that. So back to the history and the reason why Alec Doomadgee is a wedge-tailed eagle hovering above the Budjamala National Park and the Lawn Hill area is because he's protecting it. I named the painting 100% Waanyi, and that's what they were fighting for legally because of
the land rights.
The land rights. So because there's a long history and a documented history from the ears on the homestead wall to the pastoralists and their cruel stuff. So they went through court, and pastoralists got 49%, and Waanyi people got 51%. Basically, there was you had to show the books. So both of you benefited in the production from the land, from the country. And, of course, the pastoralists weren't doing it, the Lawn Hill mob. And that's why they decided to protest and take back 100% of their land, which was stolen from them. And it's documented. Oh, man, it was amazing. So proud. Anyway, he's a top bloke. Recently, we did a TV show thing. I think it's going to be on NITV, called The Frontier, about the festival. You get to see Sean's movie, Painting Alec Doomadgee. And that's all about me and my mission. And it was funny, he was such a taskmaster. He was such a taskmaster. He was invested in it. In the end, I couldn't have done it if he wasn't there. I would have run out of petrol halfway.
Yeah, right.
No shit, I would have. It's fucking just cost a bomb to drive that far. And Sean was amazing. Anyway, just before sunset, because you had to drive all day, 8 hours a day.
Just to cover the distance.
To cover this distance. And because you had to stop before sunset, because the roos come out. Down the highways, it was like a cemetery of kangaroos. It was just fucking chaos. The reason being is because of the drought at the time. The drought was, you've seen the paintings, how red it is, how there's no foliage or anything. And it was just red, far as the eye can see, really, and just tiny bits of green. It was really sad. And there's actually one of the great paintings that I sold to Simon Harson, another photographer that works with Sean. They've been working together as collaborators for years. But he bought the photo with see the roos popping up?
Oh, no.
Roos on the red dust. Yeah. It was like that. You see the little puff of dust.
Dirt coming up.
Yeah, it was that dry. Then they dance off. I say dance. You say hop. Whatever.
Yeah.